All right, we're back with the Big Miller Basketball Show, episode 5. Kris Boyd, I'm here with Erick Taylor from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. First up, E, appreciate you.
What's going on, brother?
Appreciate you hopping on, doing well, Sunday afternoon. We're just chopping up a little bit about girls. That's what we're going to preview. We're going to preview everything that's going to be happening this week leading up until, state tournaments. And then I'm hoping, E, if you want to hop on with me again, we'll discuss some state tournament and then maybe one more time, and we'll discuss some girls state championship games. But we're here to really discuss, some regionals. We'll talk some conference later on once we get up to there. And we're talking about it a little bit before we went live, Erick, but 1A girls often gets overlooked. I mean, honestly, 1A in any sport, right? People are like, they're small schools. Not really that good. The schools are really small, whatever. 1A girls has a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm looking at this Hillcrest regional. You got Westside Gris Ferry as a 1 seed. You got Earl's a 1 seed. I said it all last year. Westside Gris Ferry is one of the best teams in the state, regardless of any classification.
Yep.
They're still good. Earl, you've got them top 10 overall in the state as a 1A team.
Yep.
What are your thoughts about those regional and those two teams?
You know what, man? And I was talking to a guy at state finals last year when Earl and Westside played, and I was looking at their roster and realized that both was going to bring back 90 to 95% of the roster from the teams that they were playing that day. But then you look at the additions that Earl got in the offseason, man, which really just elevated them to, and we talked a little bit about it at Big Miller Media Days, man. I remember just like yesterday, I was telling Nigel, I said, forget 1A. I said, Earl's going to be one of the best teams in the state, period.
Overall.
Considering what they brought in. And they actually went out and proved it that first week of the season. They beat Springdale Harbor, which is going to be one of the 6A favorites, They beat Nashville, which is the 4A favorite right now. They beat Conway on Conway's home floor, and they beat those teams. I think they beat Harbor by 7, but they beat Conway and Nashville both by 15 plus. And this is a 1A school that gets overlooked because they're in 1A. But like I said, we talked a little bit about it off camera. That region is going to be interesting, man. Like I told you, man, it wouldn't surprise me if 3 teams from that 1A2 come out along with Westside, and then you have Norfolk and Viola. I think have good chances of getting by. But I think pretty much everyone expects Earl and Westside to be right there in that regional final. And then, barring upsets, they may end up seeing each other again come state.
And there's plenty of other 1A really good teams. You have County Line. County Line's really good.
Right.
Viola's really good.
Right.
But there's a team I bet hardly anybody in the state knows about them. Mm-hmm. And Erick, they're really good. Taylor's a really good girls basketball team.
Yeah. They got to be good. Look at that last name, Taylor. I mean, come on now. I mean, but no, man, I saw them twice online. And I was talking to Emerson's coach French, one of my guys, and they've seen Taylor quite a bit. And he was talking about how good they were, how big they were. And when I saw them play online, I'm like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. And then, like, if you saw them play over at PA, I guess a few months ago or whatever. But that's a team that no one really is talking about at all year long. It's always been Earl, Westside. But this Taylor team, and like I said, this is probably my sleeper in 1A. I hadn't seen the bracket and how it falls. But that's a team that I'm not going to be shocked if they get, make a deep semifinal run, possibly final run, because they are good, and if they're making down shots from the outside, they're even better.
And you're right. They have size. A lot of 1A schools don't have size. They have size, and their size is skill. Their size can play point. Their size can pass, and their size can shoot. Mm-hmm. And you just don't really see size like that can do that until you get to like the 5A or 6A level.
Yeah.
They're really good. I'm with you on Taylor as a sleeper. 2A, 2A seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, you have a couple of teams that get a lot of headlines because there's a lot of talented girls in 2A. Candy Barrett at Poen gets a lot of headlines. She's really good, has a lot of colleges looking at her. Damiah Wilson at Barton gets a lot of headlines because it seems like every time she goes out, she's putting up Kobe Bryant numbers.
Right.
He's gotten a lot of attention. Who are some of those other 2A girls teams that, is not getting that attention?
Man, and again, we talked a little bit about it off camera, but I think 2A is one of the deepest classes in Arkansas. I mean, you mentioned Point. They're going to host the state tournament. Of course, regional is going on this week as well. But Point for sure, Barton, of course. But also, you got Sloan Hendricks. They just won their conference tournament last night. Dirks, who I really like this Dirks team. I saw them play, I believe, Northside early in the year, and I saw them online a couple times. This Dirks team is really good. They've flown under the radar along with Riverside. Riverside is always good.
Riverside's girls, and those girls have been there. We've been hearing about those girls for a few years now.
For years, man. And they just won their conference tournament as well. But those teams in particular, I know I'm missing several. Southside B Branch, I watched them play Barton early in the year. The only team that beat Barton, this season. Quitman, they're always in the mix. I think
Quitman's always
they're on like a long winning streak right now, man. So there are several teams in 2A. Like I said, I've got Poy number 1 undefeated. With to me probably the second best sophomore in state behind Easton McCullough, in my opinion. And they're really like neck and neck. Those two are tremendous players. But yeah, man, that 2A state tournament, barring any upsets in regionals, if all those teams get through and get to state, it's gonna be a heck of a tournament, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at your rankings. You have Poe and Quitman, Dirks, Riverside, Sloan Hendricks. You got to go to 6 to even get to Barton, and Barton, man, really good.
Dude, that's the crazy part about it. People don't like it. I'm a stickler when I do my rankings and whatnot. I'm kind of maniacal about it because I go back, I'm the type that I look for trends. I look, strength of schedule. I look at what they're doing over the last 10 games. I look at who they're playing. And then I have an eye test too, because I make sure I see these teams. If I'm not in person seeing them, I watch them online, I find old games and I know what's going on. So, but in 2A, along with 3A has been my toughest class to rank all year, because you have so many. Look at Barton, for instance, lost 1 game and I got him at 6, but I'm like, they could easily be the top 2 or 3. But that's just how deep that class is, man. And I think, like I said, once state hits, I think a lot of people are going to see that.
Speaking of Barton, so Barton was in the state championship game last year. What does Coach Court have to do down there to get Barton to go on a run and play consistent and get back to that state championship game?
You know what? Of course, last year's team, they lost Jakara Jackson, who's having a good year at UAPB this season as well. But they also have another kid, Jordan Gamble, who's been playing tremendous for them. I think she had 28 last night, if I'm not mistaken, against England in that district final. I watched that last night as well. But, teams are going to come in thinking they're going to just stop Damiah Wilson and they have a chance. She's seen double teams. She's seen triple teams. I've seen her break double teams. I've seen her break triple teams. So she's going to do what she's going to do no matter what defense you throw at her. She's going to score and she's going to make plays. But if you have another kid like a Jordan that's knocking down shots, doing her thing, and then Barton has size as well. So you have to keep.
Barton's a big team.
Barton's a big team, So
it's not just Batman only. There's Batman and several Robins.
Right. Exactly, man. So it's not going to shock me one bit to see Ryan get these ladies and they make it back to the semis or state. They are a really, really good team. And I think me and him talked a few weeks ago, and he pointed out that Southside game. That's really stuck in their craw, man. They really hate that they let that one get away, and they've shown since then. I mean, they hadn't had a close game, I think, since that game. They went down to Cutter a week or so ago and beat a pretty good Cutter team by 20. So they're going to be tough out for anybody, And it's again that 2A, man. It's gonna be wild, man. And Point's hosted as well, so
yeah, and that. All those schools got to go to Poe, and that Poe and Jim will be absolutely rocking.
Wow.
It'll be rocking.
Yep, literally.
All right, moving into 3A. We talked a little about 3A as well. You've got Dover as your number 1 team. They're undefeated, similar to kind of Poe. And the funny thing for me about Dover is I think a lot of people They lost Logan. Logan went to Arkansas Tech. She's playing well at
Mhm.
Arkansas Tech. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, well, Dover's, they're going to take a step back because one of the best players in the state graduated. And it doesn't seem like they've taken hardly any steps back.
They haven't, man. I mean, Christian Woods has done a great job since she's been down there, man. And again, Logan's she may very well end up being the GAC Freshman of the Year, based on what she's been doing this season for Tech. But Kenzie McCarty has taken her game to another level this season with Dover. I think she has over 2,000 points, maybe. I think I remember seeing that at one point. The Tisworth sisters have been big for that team. I watched them play Mayflower last night. I had like six screens open last night watching district tournament finals. I watched them play Mayflower last night, and they beat them by, I think, 14. Dover is good, and they're undefeated for a reason. They played, I think, what someone could consider maybe a softer schedule than normal, but they have shown that they can beat good teams, and they went up to Gravett Christmas tournament, beat Bentonville for the second straight year to win that tournament, man. They beaten a good Mayflower team, a good Baptist prep team. So this team not going to be afraid of anybody, in that loaded 3A. And 3A is loaded just like 2A.
3A is loaded. There's a lot of people don't even really talk about Episcopal, but they've got a two-lady punch with March and a Lois. And if you want to try to box in 1-1, well, the other one's going to score. And Manila, I've seen Manila a few times. And Manila, they'll press you and they'll shoot 33s. And if they're hot, they can beat anybody.
Exactly. That's the crazy part about it, man. Episcopal, again, as crazy as it sounds, has kind of flown on a lot of people's radar. But again, like you mentioned, man, the 1-2 with Laney and Lois. I watched them. I saw them the other day play Ball Knob in that district final. They've got some freshmen that are really good as well. Abby Edwards, who's come on.
That's a young team.
Yes, a young team, man. They're playing well. And the crazy part about, you just mentioned Dover, Episcopal. We hadn't even talked about the teams from the 3A2. The Mountain Views, who was really, really good. Bergman, Melbourne, which I think beat Episcopal earlier by 2 this year. Those teams, man, and Valley Springs, who their record may not show it, but Valley Springs is a good team. They beat a good Salem team just to get into regionals this year. But those teams,
I actually looked at their schedule not too long ago. They played a tough schedule.
A really, really tough schedule.
Their record doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
That's because they played a lot of good teams.
They played a lot of good teams, and they're not afraid. They never have been afraid to play those teams, man. And then look at Greenland from the 3A1. That team, they have a three-headed attack up there. They've got 3 players that can literally go off 25 a night if need be. You try to stop one, but someone else is going to have 20 plus. You stop 2, this other one may have 30. So again, 3A, just like 2A, loaded class, man, and it's going to be competitive. And that's like, we don't even talk about the teams from the South. Dumas, who's always good. McGee's going to be there. Falk. With Kendall Smith, really good. They're going to be.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody talks about Falk.
Exactly. What I'm saying? And I think they've won multiple conference tournaments and conferences in the last few years or whatever, man. So there's a lot of teams, again, that are going to be right. And it's, again, barring any upsets in regionals, that are going to be right there. They're going to present some really good games once state hits.
Well, I was actually talking with Nick about it, and I said, actually, probably the 2 regionals that I'm looking forward, all the regionals that I'm looking forward to most are going to be the 2A regionals and the 3A regionals.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There's going to be some good teams that get left out.
Literally, man. And again, I'm going to be home, I guess, Wednesday, and depending on what I decide to do Thursday and Friday. But I usually will have 4 or 5 windows open and just watching some of these games, man. At this time of year is always the craziest and the busiest for me, but it's also satisfying as well because you're going to see a lot of really good games.
Yeah, you sent me a picture last year during regionals week, and you had 2 TVs going, and then you had your laptop open with like 4 screens or 6 screens.
Oh, man, it's going to be the same this year. It's going to be the same this year, man, literally.
4A. 4A is obviously one that I know a whole lot. 4A, I think, is pretty top heavy, but I want to highlight the Stuttgart Regional. Stuttgart's hosting. You have Forest City and Highland as 1 seeds. You have Blytheville as a 2 seed. You have Stuttgart as a 3 seed. You have Southside Batesville as a 2 seed. I mean, Macy Witt, I think, gives Southside Batesville a puncher's chance through any of that regional right there.
Dude, she doesn't play like a sophomore at
Oh.
all. Man, that kid, she's literally fearless. She's not afraid of contact. She's not afraid to mix it up. She goes about her business, and she elevates that team. And Southside has been good all year. And they just happen to be in a conference with Forest City, who has another great sophomore in Kennedy. So that sophomore class is wild in this state, man. But like you mentioned, man, Highland just won, their district tournament. But I still think, and I may be nuts for saying this, and Stuttgart is a team that Brooklyn Owens is going to get you.
Tough,
she's going to get you 35 if need be. She had 41 against Southside the other night. If they can get going, I can see them sneaking into that semi, winning that first game. But again, this time of year, anything can happen. But of course, Forest City is going to be favored to come out of there. But again, Highland is good. Southside.
Yeah.
That's the region that's going to be really interesting.
I'm looking at it right here. So Forest City and Brooklyn open up.
Mm-hmm.
Blytheville and Stuttgart open up.
Mm-hmm.
Highland and Truman open up. Southside and Westside open up.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got 5 teams that can make a run out of that one regional.
Yeah, literally.
And it's at Stuttgart.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams are having to travel a long ways to get down to Stuttgart.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man.
Brooklyn playing in their own gym.
Yeah.
I think that regional is prime for some upsets right there.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that any of these other teams aren't good, because Forest City is one of the best teams in 4A all year long.
All year long, yeah.
Highland's good. But yeah, when I saw that regional, I was like, wow, that regional right there will be fun to watch.
It is, yeah. And
really fun to watch.
That's definitely gonna be one that I'm gonna have a screen open with if I don't end up going down that way. Just because of what you just mentioned. You're gonna have teams again, you're gonna have to match up, and they're coming from a little ways away, and that gym, it's a nice gym. I've been there once. Really, it's been open maybe I think a year or two now.
Yeah, it's brand new. It's nice.
Yeah, nice facility, man. And Stuttgart's going to bring their fans. So that first game,
fans.
Oh yeah, and that game against Blytheville is going to be interesting, man, for sure.
Good fans. Heber's hosting their regional.
Mm-hmm.
You got 3 of the top teams in 4A right there in that regional with Robinson and Heber Springs. Don't sleep on Heber Springs and then Pulaski Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Heber Springs, if they're shooting well, they can play with any of those teams. They've been right there with Pulaski Academy. They took Robinson to overtime. I think a lot of people sleep on Heber Springs, but they're well coached, and those girls are really good.
Man, of the losses, I think they have 7 losses, but like I said, 4 of them have been against PA and Robinson, and they've played both of those teams hard and tough. So that's a team that again can very well win that region. To be honest with you, if they're on. Again, that's another team that plays fearless. They can bang inside. They're not afraid to get physical, and then they can knock down shots from perimeter. They got guards that can penetrate, dish, pop, whatever the case is. So they're equipped to make a deep run. And again, that region.
I like them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said, they got size. They got some seniors with a lot of basketball IQ, like Ada Choate. But that we're talking about sophomores. That sophomore Raleigh Ferris.
Yeah. Oh man.
Let her get hot. She'll drop 30 in a heartbeat.
Literally, and make it look easy. and again, the biggest thing, they're on their home floor, so they're going to feed off that crowd and energy, man. And it's going to be tough. I don't know who they're playing in that first game, but it's going to be tough for anybody to take them. You're going to beat them. You're going to have to actually beat them. Literally. Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. Nashville. Coach Dean doing his thing like he loves to do.
Yeah.
He's going to trap you. He's going to 1-3-1 you. They're going to put some pressure on you. And when I watch the games that they lose, it seems like if he just had another ball handler or two, he would be a top 5 team overall in the state because his forwards may be unmatched.
Yeah.
Those 3 forwards, and he's having to play a few as guards.
Yeah.
Those 3 forwards, there may not be 3 forwards on one team as good as those 3 girls anywhere else.
The way he utilizes what he has, and he's done it since he's been down in Nashville, man. Utilizing the players he have and puts them in the best positions. But just imagine what that team would be like if they had just like you mentioned, a dynamic ball handler. Karsten handles the ball quite a bit for them, and she's highly capable. She does, she's that good of a player. She does what she does.
Sure, but when the thing with her,
mm-hmm.
you put the ball in her hands,
mm-hmm.
and then a lot of times she's setting up for other people
mm-hmm.
and taking herself out of the playmaking.
Right.
Putting herself in a playmaking ability and removing
mm-hmm.
herself from a scoring ability, and she's really
mm-hmm.
a scorer. And
she's exactly, literally, and she's a kid that you're not going to stop her one-on-one once she gets to the mindset where I'm going to score. She's gonna either score or she's gonna get fouled or just miss a shot. She's that good of a player. But yeah, like I said, the front court that they have with Basileir, I can't remember the other big kid that comes off the bench. I can't remember her name. But she's going to be a good one. But the thing that always gets me with Nashville and what he does is that trapping defense. I mean, I literally watched them play the Queen a few weeks ago at home, and I swear there was like 7 consecutive possessions where the Queen threw the ball away just because of the trap coming. 2 of them was like they saw it coming and just threw it away. Just off instinct.
It's like a snowball, man.
I mean, dude, it's
all of a sudden that snowball is now like this big and just rolling down the hill, and you can't stop it.
I literally love watching them play just because, not only because of the talent that they have, but the way they play defense and they trap, man. It's literally a sight to see, man. And that team, again, they've been number 1 for me in 4A pretty much all year. That region that they're in, they're hosting their region as well. Mm-hmm. So it's almost when you're good and then you're playing them on their home floor, it's almost impossible to beat them, man. So I fully expect for them to come out of their region and then be favored pretty much in every game in state until
packed house. They got good fans. Man. They get loud. Man. They know when to cheer.
Yeah, exactly, man. So that's that team there is along again with whoever comes out of the PA, the Heber Springs regional. Robinson Young, but Robinson's good. Robinson's going to be around for the next 2-3 years playing at the top level with their young team, the Simmons and Williams kid, who I used to cover her mom when she played back at Kingsland. And I tell everybody, Tasha Crane is still the best girls basketball player I've ever covered. I covered her throughout the whole career when she was in high school at Kingsland, and she ended up going to Louisiana Tech. Mm-hmm. Her along with Erica Leak now, 2 of the best players I ever covered, girls players anyway. But you can tell, she's got those genes, and Aubrey Williams is one of the best young players in Arkansas, man. That Robinson team is fun to watch. So
it is.
Again, 4A, like I said, 4A is top heavy. But those, there are a few teams, again, like I said, along with Heber, the Hebers of the world, the Highlands, that teams that I can foresee, making some push, to get to.
Yeah, you're right. There's some teams out there. It is top heavy, but there's some teams out there that if you let them get going.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Heber or Highland or Brooklyn Owens at Stuttgart, you let them get going, they'll punch you in the mouth.
Oh, for sure. So it's not going to be a cakewalk at all. But again, if you're going to beat those top teams, you have to literally beat them. So don't leave anything to chance.
Yeah, those teams aren't going to lose games.
Oh,
they're going to come after you.
For sure.
Beat them.
For sure. Yeah, literally.
5A. We start with the cream of the crop, Farmington. I don't remember. I didn't go back and do any research. But I don't remember the last time they lost an in-state game.
Man, that streak is like well over to 100 plus. Now I can't remember. I had to go back and look, but the consistency with that program, man. Even when Coach Johnson, that's my guy, me and him text a few weeks ago. When Coach McCullough stepped into that role, she had been there almost 2 decades anyway. So there's a lot of familiarity there. So he moves on to U of A as an assistant. She steps into that head role, and they hadn't missed a beat. They just go out and do what they do. Of course, Easton is, not only one of the best players in this state, but in the entire country. When she's done, she pretty much can go wherever she wants to college-wise to play college basketball if she so chooses.
100%. Generational top player.
Oh, man, for sure. But she's got help. The Reese Thornton, Sadie Morris, and Anna Smith. That team is deep, and they play well together. They play off Easton. She's not only a scorer; she can score whatever she wants, but she plays that facilitator role perfectly.
Exactly.
Because honestly, I think she looks for her teammates before she looks for her shots. And that's, I think, what makes them so good. they're so tough to beat because you can try to stop her. You're not going to stop her no matter what you do. Kind of like Demaya Wilson and Barton. She's going to get hers if she wants to. But when she's finding her teammates and they're getting involved, it makes them that much tougher to beat, man. So you literally start at the top with Farmington, and rightfully so with what they do.
Well, and a lot of people will say, and I'm gonna mix in some other 5A teams in here as well. A lot of people say, well, why is Farmington always so good? Why is Bologna always so good? Well, those coaches have built that program, and they build it from first grade all the way up.
Yep.
Coaches at those schools have been around those girls forever.
Mm-hmm.
They're running the system. They know their strengths and weaknesses. These girls have been playing together forever. That's why those schools are so good.
Legit programs. Yep.
Yeah. They build programs. They're not building a team year to year.
Yep.
They're building programs.
Yep.
You've got, I don't know exactly where I know you have Bologna and Greene County Tech both in your top 5 overall, if I'm not incorrect. And Greene County Tech, I mean, that's one of the best teams in the state.
Yeah.
But they're right there with Farmington. So here's my question. You have a Bologna who's an amazing team, Maddie Mannion, Burnham Twins. You got Greene County Tech with E. Johnson, who's one of the best players in the state. Top 2, 3, 4, wherever you want to put her.
For sure.
Unguardable. Nobody can guard her one-on-one.
Right.
Sophia Gonzalez, Addie Ryan, the shooter. Who else can give Farmington a push? You got some teams out there. We talked about best players in the state. Whit Rogers is at Little Rock Christian. She can go 40 or 50 any given night.
Right.
Which of these teams can push Farmington?
The first one comes to mind, and I really like Mountain Home. They've got 3 kids who all have over 1,000 points in their career.
Speaking of building programs.
Exactly, man. And Coach Leonard's been around for years. That team, I think, again, it is, you talk about a team that's equipped to make a deep run. They're equipped to make a deep run. Those kids have been playing together for years. I think, and matter of fact, they play Farmington, I think, here either Tuesday or Friday, 1 or 2. And that'll be for the 5A West title. Farmington, won that first game. I look at Mountain Home. I look at a Lake Hamlin team. If they're knocking down shots from the outside, they can beat anybody.
You said that when we were talking earlier. You're like, I like Lake Hamilton.
Yeah.
Lake Hamilton plays well together. Lake Hamilton can get out and run. If you want to run, they can run with you.
Yep.
If they're knocking down threes, you're like, hey.
If they're knocking down 3-point shots, I think I watched them in the King Cotton play Oak Grove from Louisiana. I want to say Lake Hamilton knocked down 15, 16 3-pointers. So when they're on, they're tough to beat, man. So I think look at those 2 teams. Again, you mentioned Little Rock Christian with Whitley Rogers. She's good for 35 a night. If she so chooses. But also if Liv Hatcher is on as well,
you can get going.
When she gets going, and I think they're playing some of their best ball right now at the right time in the season. I think they've won, 7 of their last 8 of their last 9, something like that. So if she's going and Liv's going as well, that makes them again, that much tougher. So I look at those teams as potential challenges to Farmington. But again, and Farmington is going to host 5A as well. That gym, it's been a while since I've been in that gym, but that gym's gonna be rocking. And if you're gonna beat them, like we've said with the other classes, you're gonna actually have to beat them. If it's close, you're gonna lean towards Farmington because they have the ultimate closer, Easton McCullough. But again, they're the favorite, rightfully so. But they're gonna, if you're gonna beat them, you're gonna earn it. So
a lot of legendary coaches in those 5 schools you just rattled off too.
Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta love it, man.
When you said you're going to have to beat those teams, it just kind of popped in my head. Well, those teams don't beat themselves, and you have to go beat them because they're so well coached. Literally,
and that's why, because like I said, those teams, they're there every year. So and because of the culture that the coaches have built there, man, and like you mentioned, they're not going to beat themselves. Rarely have we ever seen Farmington beat themselves in a game. They hadn't lost to a team from Arkansas, and I want to say maybe Nashville may have been the last team to beat them a few years ago in the state finals when Sidney Townsend hit that 3-pointer. I had to go back and look, but that might have been the last game. I can't remember. But they don't beat themselves.
Nope.
So it's going to be tough. For sure.
Speaking of well coached and they're not going to beat themselves. Let's move into the 6A because you got North Little Rock. You got Fort Smith Northside. You got Harbor, Bentonville West, who I've seen a few times. That 6A, I mean, you know, it's kind of been dominated by one or two teams over the past several years. I think it's a little open for someone else to step up and win a state championship.
You literally used the right word, being open, because I honestly think, you know, you've got, you know, the three top teams, you know, and from my opinion, in North Little Rock, Harbor, and Northside. Harbor and Northside is going to play for the 6A West title Tuesday. But like you mentioned, Bentonville West, you know, I think I mentioned, I'm going to mention tomorrow, they've probably been my most surprising team in 6A this year. I think they've lost 5 games. 4 of them have come against Northside and Harbor.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I think Nashville was the other team that beat them. But that Bentonville West team, you know, they got some young talent, you know, and they play well together. They remind me a lot of Farmington because they play well together.
They do. They play, and they're fun to watch too.
They're fun to watch, man. That West team. I look at a team like, you know, I got a DM the other day. A guy asked me that I think Conway was down this year. By Conway standards, yes, but they're so young. You know, Ashley is starting, I think, 2 freshmen and, you know, 2 sophomores and a junior. So by Conway standards, yes, but also once state tournament hits, there's a team that you're not going to play.
But Conway standards are a state championship.
A state championship, exactly. You know, they're always in that last game, man. But that's a team they're not going to play. No one's going to want to play. I look at Little Rock Central, who started to play well at the right time in the season, man. Bryant, who, again, like Conway's young. I think Bryant, their entire team are pretty much sophomores, a couple of freshmen. I think they may have a junior or 2 mixed in, so they're going to be a top. But another team that I'm really intrigued to watch, and that's Fayetteville.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they lost Traniyah when she transferred to Harvard. But Coach Rimmer has done such a good job with that team. You know, Peyton Carlos, again, one of the best young players in the state.
Absolutely. And just like a lot of these other players we've talked about, she can carry that team.
She can carry the team.
She can beat you.
Literally, she had 37 the other night against Springdale. You know, Charlie Rawlins. If they get going, they're tough. You know, so I'm interested to see, you know, what transpires once state hits. But the 6A, of course, like I said, you start with those top 3 teams in Northside, Harbor, and North Little Rock. And it really is going to kind of boil down to how the draw falls. You know, once the regular season ends and the seeds are set, you know, you're going to have some matchups that ordinarily would probably be semifinal type matchups, but you can get them in the first round, you know. So if
it's even possible for a team who is 24-3 and you've got them ranked number 1 overall in 6A and number 2 overall in the state, is North Little Rock flying under the radar somehow?
Honestly, as crazy as it sounds, a little bit, because all they've done is won like 16, 17 straight games.
Let's keep winning.
They're consistent, man. And I'm gonna tell you why they probably have, because they don't have that one big name player that they normally have year in, year out. North Little Rock has probably 5 or 6 players that's probably averaging 7 to 8 points a game.
I think I saw a stat earlier where they've had 8 different players lead them in scoring at some point throughout.
Exactly. You know, and they get it done collectively, man. Those kids, they don't care who score. They just go about and just handle their business, man. And they're big this year, man. I mean, he's got size. Me and him talked about that when they played Brown the other night. He's got size that he probably hadn't had in a few years. And it's young size, man.
And he's got athletic size.
He's got athletic size.
Not just size. He's got athletic size.
Athletic size that can move. He's got a 9th grader, man. The 9th grader she played a little bit the other night. She's going to be really good. Oh, my God. So, you know, they're going to be tough. But again, to answer the original question, they probably have flown on the radar because they don't have that big name that they normally have. They just get it done. Everyone just plays. They don't care about who scores. They just want to win games, which is all they've done. You know, they beat Harbor earlier this year down in Texas. I think Northside beat them up there in the tournament up there. I can't remember who else they lost to, but you know, they're going to be a tough out regardless.
You know, I kind of want to finish this off with we've talked about a lot of players, right? You know, Demaya down at Barton. We've talked about Kennedy at Poe, and we've talked about a lot of these players. The girls at Nashville, obviously, you know, Whit Rogers, and we've talked about the girls of Bologna. We've talked about Easton McCullough at Farmington. Who are some girls that we haven't talked about yet? Like, you know, you talked about North Little Rock, but we didn't even really mention. Okay, well, they've got a Katie Thimple who, if you give her an inch, she's going to drop. She'll hit 10 threes on you just like that, right? Who else have we not talked about on some of these teams? One that comes to my mind is Greenlee Elmore, who I just love watching because she just goes 100 miles an hour, 100% all the time. You turn around, you look, she's got 29 points, 15 rebounds.
The first player that literally comes to mind, Kylah Pearcy at Greenwood. I think I don't know if you pronounce Kylah or Kylah. I remember seeing her when she was a freshman, and I think I saw a little bit of a sophomore. But I remember telling a guy that I was sitting next to, she's going to be the next great Greenwood player. That kid is. You know, I hate using the word. Oh my God, I hate using the word special because it sounds cliche. You know, you hear it all the time, but she is really a special. I don't know where she's going to go for college. I love watching her play. You know, she had a 58-point game the other night where I think she had 45 in the second half. You know, which is just wild. Even say out loud. But I remember watching her a few years ago saying that she's going to be the next great Greenwood player, and I think she's something like maybe 60 points or so away from being the all-time lead scorer for that program, which is saying a lot considering
that's
players.
That's wild.
You know, exactly with the players that they turn out, man. You know, from the London Williams to the Mandy Cartwrights to, you know, all these other players that Greenwood has turned out. But that kid, I think, is one of the most underrated players in Arkansas. And it may be because Greenwood hasn't been as I don't want to say good, but hadn't done what Greenwood normally has done in the past. But she's the first one that sticks in my mind. Another kid for Conway, Traniyah Weston. She's kind of battled a few injuries this year with that team, but she's another kid, dynamic guard, you know, cat quick. She can get after you on defense. You know, I think she probably takes more pride on the defensive end than she does offensively. But when she gets going offensively, she's tough to stop because she's not big. She's not really small either, but she's compact. You know, but she's cat quick. You know, that kid there, she's just a junior. She has another year left. But those two come to mind, you know, as far as the bigger schools. On the 4A, you mentioned Greenlee at PA on the 4A level. Again, she, you know, me and you talking a while ago when they played Earl, and she just went berserk. You know, I think she had 37 or so.
Yeah, she just dominated that game from start to finish.
Man, from
at Earl.
At Earl, you know, in that gym, and you know, because that gym is a compact gym. So I saw highlights of that game, and she was just, you know, doing whatever she wanted to do on the floor. But there's a lot of kids in this state, man, that you know don't get the recognition wise. But Arkansas, pound for pound, I think, you know, and I wholeheartedly believe this, can compete with the best of them. You know,
I 100% agree. You know, Arkansas basketball, the state of Arkansas basketball has always been good, right? Always. You go back 40 years, and it's putting kids all over college. I think the girls have always been a little underrated, even though there's always been girls. Arkansas always produces talent, whatever level. I don't care, whatever level you want to say.
Right.
And this class, that 27 class, that 28 class is just unbelievably loaded.
Literally.
I mean, this 3-year span, I would love when it's all said and done with to see how many kids are going D3, D2, D1, because it's going to be a long list.
Yeah, that 28 class, you know, I would have to go back and do my research, but, you know, from what I've seen now, I mean, and you've seen a lot of them as well, that class is deep with talent, man. You know, we mentioned Easton and Kennedy, you know, and then Kennedy Smith up in Forest City. But there are other sophomores out there, man. You know, Peyton Caudill. You know that class is deep, man. Like you mentioned, man, it's you know, it's exciting times at this, you know, right now for this state basketball, particularly on the girls' side. You know, I've always been, and this even started when I was, you know, years ago in Pine Bluff back. And this is my 26th year in sports journalism, man. And I was working at the Pine Bluff Commercial years ago with you know, that's when I first met Coach Yarbrough, who you know, PA's coach now, and me and her, still one of my friends to this day. But I was always an advocate for girls basketball, and it started because I used to watch her Star City teams play so much, you know, and so, you know, I'm always gonna go to bat for the girls in the state because they never get pushed to the forefront, you know, and regardless of how good they are. But I think that's about to change, you know, literally because of the talent that's coming up, and it's good times for Arkansas right now, basketball.
It is. Mm-hmm. And one, before we head off, my mind just went blank. I'm putting you on the spot. I hope you can remember the name. Bergman has a point guard that is absolutely incredible, and I'm completely drawing a blank on her name.
It's not Hope,
and she is really, really good. And forgive me, Bergman fans, because I've seen her twice crazy. Now. She's really good.
I literally just watched them play the district the other night, the final. It's not the coach. Look, once we get off, then that's when they come to me. Which is wild. You know, I guess we're getting old, man.
Hey, you know, here's the deal. Also, I would love for people, if you watch this and you're like, man, Kris and Erick, you idiots, y'all forgot somebody. Well, put it in the comments. That way we can talk about them, you know, next week, because that's what we're here for.
Exactly.
Obviously talk about girls basketball, but to really highlight those girls that don't really get covered any other way.
Yeah, man. And like I said, there's so many out there. Like I said, we're going to miss a whole lot of them, man. And it's not intentional. Sure. Like I said, we're getting older. So our mind may not be as sharp.
I've been older.
But no, man, I love, you know, advocating for the ladies, you know, basketball wise. And it's good times for Arkansas because we have so many great players. And a lot of these kids are going to be high D1 kids for us all said and done, which I love the fact.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Well, we're going to hop on here about a week from now. We're going to talk about some conference and then some leading into state tournament matchups. So have a good week. It's going to be a lot of fun watching basketball. There's going to be a lot of good basketball this week.
A lot of good basketball, man. A lot of long nights, man. But I love it, man. Wouldn't trade it for the world, brother.
I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Have a good day.
Yes, sir.